So you say you want to get organized. Have you ever thought about what exactly that means? If we don't know what being organized means in the end, in the long run, how could we know how to get there and how we're really doing? So let's talk today about what it means to be organized. Hi, I'm Mystie Winckler, and I help homemakers overcome the overwhelm that drags us down so easily. We need to find customized, personalized solutions that are made for our own unique situations and not cut and paste someone else's solution into our situation and expect that to work. We talk about how to do that, how to find what will work for you, and how to make progress with baby steps and habits along the way so that you can see progress and feel satisfied and successful in the vocation and the role that God has called you to. So when we're talking about homemaking and organization, I like to say that you don't need a label maker. That organization actually begins with your attitude, not with your closets, not with containers, and not even with decluttering. Organization starts with your attitude. But then I get comments sometimes from people who are confused by this and who perhaps think that I am muddying the waters and using the wrong words just to make a point. Does our attitude really count as part of organization? Is it included? Or is organization really only about keeping a calendar, keeping neat and tidy shelves, and having all your ducks in a row? What we think organization means will greatly impact how we go about it and how we evaluate our success. So it's really important that we nail down the meaning of organization and that we set the right goals and keep the right focus as we pursue building our skills and our confidence and our abilities and capacities in fulfilling our duties at home. When we think about organization as having all of our ducks in a row, then we begin to feel rightly that we can't be organized as moms. But we need to stop striving for having our ducks in a row and admit that ducklings actually waddle where they will, leaving sloppy footprints as they go, even if they are in a row. We have to stop believing the marketers who tell us that we're only 5 containers and 1 label maker away from the ideal organized state. So let's dig in to what it really looks like to be organized, what it really feels like to be organized, and how we can pursue that goal rightly. Let's dig in. Would you like simplified organization? Who wouldn't really? But I'd like to explain what I mean when I say simplified organization, because I've received comments and emails that make it clear that there are many opinions out there on what organization really means, what it really looks like, what we're really going for when we pursue it, what really counts as organized. And who's to say? When I poke fun at labeled containers in a closet not being organized, not being what organized means, it's not because it's wrong or bad to have matching containers on your shelf. But what is wrong is to think that those are what will make and keep you organized. Labeling your containers will not solve the problem that you have when you say you are disorganized. Being disorganized or organized is not a personality trait that you either have or don't have. It's not in your genes, and it's only partly taught or caught by parental nurture. It's only when we cut through the superficial answers and the impressive looking solutions on Pinterest or in the magazine spreads, that we can understand what we are really going for when we try to get organized. And that true answer is simpler and yet harder than anything you'll find in the magazines or on HGTV. Simplified organization is organization that addresses the true disorder, not only the surface level disorder of our counters or our closets or our cupboards, but the disorder in our minds and our hearts. When we clean and contain our clutter in hopes that that will change our character, then we are bound to not only be disappointed and frustrated, but we're also bound to return to our original messy ways. The clutter will return. The disorder will continue. Entropy is real. So any one-time project to control the clutter and contain the mess is bound to failure. It's never going to be a permanent solution or a one-time fix. How many of us want to give up when we realize that? So many. After all, we hope that being organized is some kind of magical state. Having arrived there, suddenly life will be easy. Things will stay put. The problem is that we have allowed media, magazines, and marketers to define organization for us. They tell us that being organized means having your act together. It means a place for everything and everything in its place all the time. All you need is this container or this kind of label or this article's solution to attain the blessed state. But the actual dictionary definition of the verb to organize shows a broader understanding of what it really means. It means to arrange in a structured whole, to order, to make arrangements or preparations for, to coordinate. It's under these dictionary, broader than Pinterest, not market-driven principles, definitions, that we get such phrases as having an organizing principle. An organizing principle for anything is not a principle that puts stuff or plans in order, but the principle that everything else must arrange itself around. The guiding principle by whose lights everything else is set in order. So to be organized is to live in an orderly fashion, not only and not first with the stuff, but first and foremost in your mindset. Organizing your stuff will not bring you into a state of inner harmony and peace, though that's what is promised to us by the marketers. We believe the marketer's promise and repeat it to ourselves. If we could only declutter, then we'd be happy. But we are spiritual beings as well as material. And if we function as if the world and ourselves were only material, merely physical, we would never achieve that inner harmony, the inner order, the happiness that we are looking for. But if we find that inner order, it will work itself out into outer order. Once our mindset, our attitude, our approach is set right, when those are organized, then we are enabled to work out a physical, material organization that sticks. It sticks because we know that the stuff is not what matters most or what comes first. And because we know that to stick does not mean permanent, static state. It's rather a continually worked on, working out, returning things to their homes, including our attitudes. An outworking of inner order into the outer world is ongoing. just like organizing this stuff, will be ongoing. This might sound like a complicated organization rather than simplified organization, but it's not. After all, if we address the actual root issue, which is character and mindset, then we begin to have the process we never saw when we tried to merely deal with the stuff. In a stuff management first approach, we seek to control other people and the environment. And that's complicated because it doesn't work and it's not supposed to work. It will always leave us unsatisfied to try to control things that are outside of our control. We become a monster, demanding more effort from others, or we feed the monster organization that demands more and more from us. When we simplify organization, we cut to the heart. We cut to our own heart first and realize that stuff management is a way that we extend blessing to others and to ourselves. It's not a thing that, once achieved, bestows blessing on us. It's not pixie dust that makes everything better. It's a tool and a way of life that's consistent with our own inner character. Once our attitude, our character, our mindset has been ordered in accordance with truth, it ends up looking like something in our lives. It ends up looking like organization. We think buying matching containers will solve our problems, but it's only repentance that does that. If we start with repentance, our guilt problems are solved by Jesus. Then we can move forward with rejoicing. Then we can sort stuff into those containers and know that it in no way gives us blessing. Then we can put stuff in those containers and not look to them for what they can never give, but rather use them to bestow blessing to others, to give a happy home to others, to steward our resources effectively, and to be ready for service. Simplified organization starts with organizing principles. Putting the stuff in order needs to happen, but it needs to be subservient to putting ourselves in order. Instead of controlling stuff or other people, we need to practice self-control. We need to first and primarily deal with the character issues of our own selves that are giving us disordered affections, disordered desires, and yes, disordered stuff. Until there is inner order, outer order will be ineffective and probably not even possible. So that's why I say we need to organize our attitude so that we can organize our life. Organizing the stuff kind of happens in there somewhere, but it's not the most important piece. We organize our attitude so that we can organize our life in accordance with truth, and that will always be effective. So imagine ending your day satisfied instead of frustrated. Because even though your list isn't all checked off, you know you've done what matters most. You know you've spent your time wisely. After all, homemaking, organizing is not about achieving your perfectionist ideals, but it's about accepting your responsibilities and your constraints so that you can walk in faithfulness and fruitfulness. If you want to learn more about this simplified organization approach, I have a workshop right here called Life is Like Laundry that will walk you through the mindset shift that you need to approach your life with a good attitude, with the correct mindset, a growth mindset, and find that satisfaction and organization that you're looking for. Check out the workshop here. Life is Like Laundry. Enjoy.